What's up, YouTube? It's the Basement Bros. We're back again with another episode. I've got Hudson with me.
Wakanda forever.
I've got Shoaib.
What's up?
So let's get started with today's episode. Today we'll be discussing a new segment. We'll be taking a look at a bunch of tweets that we want to respond to, have a quick react to. Other than that, we'll have our regular news segment, and then to end off the show, we'll be covering cryptocurrency memes. So let's get started. I'm going to show these guys the first tweet that I pulled up, and let's see their reactions. Here we go. So the first tweet is a tweet by Cryptocurrency News, and so he's discussing how it's crazy how people think in 2 to 5 years of business is a long time to get rich, but do not feel that 40 years at a job is a long time. Stay broke. What do you guys think this is talking about?
I don't know, man. Those are very optimistic kind of tweets
Yeah.
and sayings. You could always make the counter argument, like you could spend 2 to 5 years absolutely doing something useless in the hopes that it might amount to something and it might not. But I guess like if you have an optimistic approach to this, like
I think
it's inspiring.
It's just saying that,
Anything
there's this
happens.
opportunity in front of you. Take a chance. Don't let it go by you. Because in 2 to 5 years you might still be working at your job and you'll be like, I wish I invested in this, or I wish I did this, right?
Yeah.
So take the opportunity that's in front of you.
I mean, it never hurts to take like 1% of your daily paycheck and put it in something. But
Okay.
I feel like
Daily paycheck.
I feel
what
like-
company do you work for?
I feel like this is a way to get people to like kind of more emotional involved into these
Yeah.
things, and this is the reason why the crash actually happened, because a lot of people just want to FOMO in.
Yeah.
So like, great, this feels great, you're making other people look bad, but guess what? My friend at AMD, well, he only buys index funds, and 1% a year for him, that's his strategy, right? So everyone has their own like.
Yeah.
Only invest what you're willing to lose.
Yeah.
Pretty
Okay,
much.
so on to the next tweet. I pulled up some person's tweet that's predicting the price of Bitcoin. So this is a tweet by Alberto. Do you I'm not sure who that
Alberto
is. It's
Diblock?
just, it was a trending tweet on Twitter.
Okay.
He's saying that his prediction is that within the next 100 days, Bitcoin will be at $2,453.50, and then he thinks it'll rise 36% thereafter for 15 days.
So it's gonna go down to 2,453.
It's a very specific prediction. He's predicting it'll fall all the way.
It
to
has one
2,453.
like on it, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's one like. How was this
It
trending?
was a top tweet under cryptocurrency.
Oh, okay.
So it might have been viewed a lot, right? But people didn't like it.
I don't know, man. I think like these kind of things are
You know what I think? I don't want to spread FUD, guys. I really don't.
Should we have like an abbreviation? Or
You know what? We'll talk about this on our next segment, because I think it's more
On
important.
the news segment.
The-
Anyways, do you guys think this is realistic?
No,
Do you think
not at
it'll
all.
fall to this
Not at
price?
all.
Not
I
the-
think
not
I
the-
think John McAfee's tweet about him
1 million? Was it
Yeah,
that
he changed it to
he'll
1
cut off
million.
his dick?
and eat it on live television. I think that's more realistic than
No
this.
way. What are you talking
Okay,
about?
that's not realistic at all. That's not
This is a more likely scenario
yeah, this is
that ever happened.
Even if this is 0.01%.
Yeah.
Hey man, 2 to 5 years. Anything can
Yeah,
happen.
well, you never know. Bitcoin could go to $10, but we don't know that, right?
If that happens,
Okay, on to
we
the
will
next.
we will quit the show.
On to the
No,
next
man.
tweet.
The ship's holding. Hardly.
Why does it have some deep learning background? Alright.
Okay, so this tweet is just basically a graph showing that
I like this graph. I see.
See,
Yeah.
there's some technical analysis.
So are we seeing the
We're
biggest
experts.
correction in Bitcoin history? So right now this graph is a little outdated. It shows that Bitcoin price went all the way to close to 20,000 and it fell to 11,000. This was in January.
Yeah.
And we all know it's down to 6,000 now, which is much more than 43%. So right now we are seeing the biggest drop in Bitcoin history.
You know, in
The biggest gain and the biggest drop.
usually what
The
happens
biggest
is
correction.
the higher it goes, the harder it falls.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
And the
deep.
harder it falls, the higher it will go next
He's
time.
writing a book
So-
next month. Stay tuned for updates.
I feel like that's true though. The higher it go, the harder it falls, the harder it recovers too.
I just feel like people who are saying that, like I remember when futures were coming out,
Yeah.
CBOE options, everyone believed that that was the way to the moon, which kind of was, but it created more manipulation, it created more shorting positions, possibilities. Hence people want to short to make even more money rather than staying long because 90% of the people
Yeah.
were staying long. And now ETF is coming, which is people think it's gonna take them to the moon, which I think yes initially, but afterwards you're still gonna get that a lot of people
Yeah.
coming in and then
Man, you can use like technical analysis to justify
anything. Yeah.
On to our last tweet. So basically, this is to counteract that Alberto D. Block's point. He said
Nice.
that Bitcoin will fall to 2,450, but this graph is showing that Bitcoin has never fallen more than its second last all-time high.
Oh, interesting.
So if it falls more than its last all-time high, but it never falls below its
Below
second
that.
last all-time high.
Second. Oh.
Yeah. So
What was the second last all-time
I
high?
believe it was like 5K, right? The last time it went to 8K, then it
Oh,
reversed
I
to
remember
5K.
that. I remember that. We were all like getting really into it,
Yeah.
and then it went down and we freaked out.
Yeah, and then
And
there
it
was a
shot up,
China
yeah.
FUD. There was a China
Yes,
FUD,
it was a
yeah.
China thing. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
like China banned everything.
China
right?
FUD, yeah.
Oh, I remember those days.
The exchanges got
The
yeah.
innocence.
Yeah. So this tweet is just basically to cover that. Okay, so
That's
let's move on to our news segment now.
Yeah.
So today the first article we're going to be discussing is an article on Blockmanity.
Oh, that's mine.
Let me cast this. So this is basically Vitalik's new consensus algorithm that that's trying to make the 51% attack obsolete, and he's basically saying that you would need 99% of the nodes to agree to have a possible attack.
Yeah.
So okay, so what is 51% attack?
So basically, the whole point of a distributed ledger is so that we are able to decentralize a lot of the things that happen on it. And if you have, in order to get consensus, you need the majority, which would be 51% of the blockchain agreeing to like a transaction, let's say. But if one person or one entity were to control 51% of the nodes, then they can manipulate that decentralized blockchain in their favor. Vitalik's new algorithm, which is also based off of some guy's paper from 1970, I can't really remember the name, it's written in the article, which we'll also be linking in the description. But this is a guy from 1970, he came up with some algorithm for distributed systems, won the Turing Award for it, and Vitalik actually implements it on the Ethereum blockchain, which is supposed to help us with more security, and it ensures that as long as 99% of the nodes agree to a transaction, then it's more trusted.
So just to summarize, basically, so what someone did a summary of this on Reddit. Basically, what he said is that this isn't basically magic. It does protect some nodes. So like I think in the long term, it's a way to detect 51% attack or
Yeah.
like an attack on the blockchain much faster than what you would be able to detect it right now. Because right now you wouldn't know right away, is the blockchain getting attacked or not.
Yeah.
So what he basically is doing is that, so I'll read it out to you. So it's only capable of checking whether or not the nodes are honest every few seconds. And Vitalik plans to incorporate and assume a propagation rate of 8 seconds and randomly pick 512 nodes to check.
Yeah.
So this means that every 4,096 seconds, Ethereum blockchain can check whether it is running honestly with 100% certainty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a print screen.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
51%
so-
attack thing is big. It's kind of a big thing
I mean,
too.
it's not
They
omitting
had a
it.
whole like Silicon Valley episode like dedicated to
Yeah.
51%.
It's not
attack.
omitting it
It was
though, right? It's kind of just seeing if they're being honest, if
good.
they're being
It's approaching it
if
with
they're
more
if they're-
technical.
Yeah, if they're not
Yeah.
being honest,
Yeah.
they should start figuring out what they're gonna
Yeah.
be doing.
This article also goes over how Ethereum is in the process of switching from
proof of
proof of work to
right,
proof of stake. But what that means is with every new block that gets completed, the payout is no longer 3 Ethereum. It is actually 0.6 Ethereum, which is a huge.
Well, at least the attack
That's
wouldn't be
huge.
happening.
So that'll be the payout for proof of work miners.
Yeah.
So they're gonna do it like a combined proof
Possibly,
of work.
but
proof of
like
stake.
man, 3 Ethereum to 0.6.
Yeah,
that's
a huge drop. So
How do you
it's
think that's gonna
giving
affect?
people incentive to switch from proof of work to proof of stake. So
Yeah.
everyone will start staking their Ethereum. Plus, this makes it easier for people that own Ethereum to actually start earning, right? Rather than these big central mining companies like Bitmain making all the money. So
Yeah.
this actually makes it more decentralized in my opinion. So for example, if you own a little bit of Ethereum, you can stake that as well and earn money on it, which is I think really cool.
Yeah, I don't like proof of work at all.
Yeah, because then it just like
From a
because
decentralized.
then you can exponentiate like your miners, and then it gets really out of control. Because then you end up controlling more than you should.
And let's not forget about Earth, our beautiful Earth.
Yeah, that too. Like people are complaining about how miners are, hurting the earth with all their, natural resources that they're destroying, basically energy.
Just inefficient. While we're in the early stages.
Yeah.
Well, you guys care about the environment.
I actually give a shit.
I do. Yeah, I feel like, you know, if they make it efficient enough that everyone can just use their solar powered setups plus.
Alright,
You know.
let's create an environmental ICO.
Anyways, okay, so I'm moving on to the next article.
Earthcoin.
I'm pretty sure that's taken.
Our second article of the day basically is going over the reaction of the crypto community to the SEC's Bitcoin ETF delay. So there was a VanEck and you know, this basically the CBOE ETF that was supposed to be basically announced this month, but they've delayed it, I believe, till September 30th now. And we all saw the initial reaction. You guys saw the prices drop.
It went from
Yeah.
like what 78 to 70, 74, and then
Something like that.
Yeah, it went all the way to
60,
6K basically.
and then 6K.
It
Yeah.
fell all the way to 6K.
Like we broke that resistance.
So
and
you
then
know,
it's still
so in the technical analysis community, they say that whenever a support is getting tested the third time, it's really really bad.
Okay. So this is the third time.
This is the third time it's been tested and it's bounced off,
Okay.
but it's kind of scary when
Oh no.
it's
So
the
maybe
same thing.
maybe
when-
that's where that guy was coming up with a prediction that it's gonna hit 2,400.
I don't think it's gonna go that low,
Yeah,
but
I don't think that's
but-
possible.
you know we don't know nobody. But I think this reaction is kind of unjustified.
Then
because
again, you know,
everyone kind of knew that it was gonna get delayed, but everyone,
Yeah,
what's
everyone
you know what's happening? The same thing's happening that happened with CBOE futures.
Yeah.
Everyone is holding this news on a pedestal,
Yeah.
and they're just waiting for this, and they're all gonna jump on when this gets approved, and then they realize after, holy shit, it doesn't really change anything,
It doesn't matter. Like
and then everything's gonna sell off again, like
you know,
crazy
yeah,
after
you
2
know when I
months.
got into cryptocurrency, everyone was like, oh, we're trying to break free of regulations, we're trying to break free of the government, we're trying to break free of banking, and now everybody's like pegging basically the price of Bitcoin to
Yeah.
the reaction of the government. Like, what does the SEC think? What do they think? Who cares what they think?
Well, that's the
We should
thing,
be
right?
beyond
No,
that, right?
90% of the people are basically here to make money.
Of course.
That's
That's the reason why this
There's-
is happening,
On
right?
our last video, a user actually commented and told us to look at a video or an article about how Venezuela is using Dash. And I personally believe that in failing economies, cryptocurrency gives them a chance to reboot and completely rebuild and restructure the way they go about making their daily transactions.
I think-
Venezuela is using Dash to like buy groceries. I don't know if it's groceries, but I know I heard like airplane tickets and
Yeah,
all these different
stuff,
things
yeah.
that it blows my mind that they're able to use cryptocurrency to make their payments, but we're still so heavily reliant on like our fiat dollars to
There's-
go about our
There's a
daily
reason.
transactions.
There's a reason why I say Wakanda forever, because Africa is going to take advantage of all. Like Cardano, Cardano's actually saying that we're not gonna go to US to get permission. We're not going to China to get their permission. We're gonna go straight to Africa, who actually could use our technology to
Yeah.
make their government better there because they don't
Yeah,
have
I think
anything.
that's a good way to approach
And that's
it, right?
exactly what Cardano is doing,
Just
and that's
build-
why they're gonna
Just
build.
build the blockchain, build the cryptocurrency,
Build something
let it,
that
let it
works.
build itself. Forget
Yeah.
the government,
Yeah.
because once it gets big enough, the government will be jumping on board.
Exactly.
They'll be like, oh, we need this,
USA,
right?
all the countries are gonna see Africa,
Yeah.
countries in Africa do something amazing. They're like, holy shit,
Yeah.
they're missing out. These
Yeah.
guys are getting
Like-
stronger, right? Economical
Our
power.
economy over here is pretty strong with the dollar, and so like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. No one really has the incentive, and we talked about this in our last video too. No one has the incentive to use cryptocurrency to make their payments over the dollar, which their entire life is structured around.
Except in countries like
Venezuela,
Exactly.
in Africa, some countries.
That's where
I-
the
I
dollar
can
got
see
started.
that.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
And
cool.
like there was articles this week that I wanted to cover, but we're not gonna have time. But
Yeah.
there was like articles on how, you know, cryptocurrency and Bitcoin and Nano basically are saving the Venezuelan economy. There was actually an article, a reply to our first video. Somebody asked us to take a look at how Dash has been helping in the Venezuelan
Yeah, that's what I
Venezuelan
thought.
economy, and it's the same thing. Dash is being used as a form of currency there,
Yeah.
and it's making a huge difference, right? We saw that one Reddit user who, with a few Nano, he basically bought like a load of supplies
Yeah.
for people in the Venezuelan economy, and like even more people donated after that. We saw like they got $30, and that was enough to feed like people for a month, I think, or
Yeah,
something.
that's crazy.
And then on top of that, he
Yeah.
got another $200, and that donation was building up more and more and more, and we see how cryptocurrencies like Nano and Bitcoin
Yeah.
are making a
Yeah,
difference.
it goes directly to the person who needs it. No like transaction
Middleman or
costs, no
whatever.
middleman or whatever, right?
And
It's cool.
so for the last segment of our show, we're just gonna be covering some memes. I actually have one meme today, but if you guys like this section, let us know, and then we'll add more to it for next time.
Meme segment.
So basically, this was one of the most popular memes this week. Let me just put it on the big screen. I think we've all seen it. So
Yeah.
so it basically shows Bitcoin is like, you know, it's sinking right now. It's going down to, you know, 6K basically. Where it's basically drowned, but everyone thinks it's dying. You know how every year somebody says Bitcoin dies and dies and dies, and then you see it come back out of the water, and then it's just going back up.
We'll
And,
see.
you know, the financial institutions are just.
I don't think financial institutions are gonna say, "Oh my God," they're gonna be like, "It's time to, you know, pump because we've already bought so many lows."
That's what I feel like is happening right now. People, weak hands, are selling their cryptocurrency like crazy,
Yeah.
and these big institutions, and we know institutions are getting in now. Everybody knows.
There's
this.
4 hedge funds that's already
Everybody
building
knows.
systems.
Yeah, everybody knows institutions are getting in now, yet they're selling their cryptocurrency to them at these cheap prices.
This is like the weirdest market correction I've.
It doesn't make
I've
sense, right? Like
experienced,
we, for the last few months, we've had
It's
so many
mentality.
good news,
It's mentality.
right?
And like more good news in the last couple months than of all like the past year combined.
Bro,
I
it's
agree.
all about the ETF. That's the perception, right?
That's everybody's just
No one's gonna be satisfied until they see that ETF approval,
Yep.
right? Like that's how markets work.
Yeah.
Well, our market works.
Mm.
Alright guys, so
Interesting.
I hope you liked our video today. If you have any comments or suggestions, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. And remember to like and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more of these videos every week. So
Yeah, we aim for once a week, but
yeah.
who knows? Maybe if we get some traction.
Yeah, we might have individual ones where, like, you know, if you Shoaib might want to discuss an article or something breaking happens, we can cover that too right
Yeah.
away, right? So something like the ETF gets announced, we'll be covering that.
Yeah.
And on that note,
Always remember, hold on
Hold
for
on
dear
for dear
life.
life.
Yeah.
Not synced at all.
that's okay. we're working on that. And remember, this is what's gonna happen to Bitcoin. So
Yeah.
if you're dumping right now, you're gonna regret it in a few years.
See you next week.
Not financial advice whatsoever.
Yeah, we'll add the disclaimer in like huge letters.